Hello, welcome to Best Top 5. I'm Best Guy. Today we're talking about the top TV shows of all time. There's a lot of TV shows out there. I think there's way too many TV shows now. I can't keep up with them. You know, there's like Full House, 25. There's like, I don't know why anybody wants to watch Full House, actually. Anyway, so...
Full House was great, dude.
What?
Full House was great.
It was great.
You got
Everywhere you go, everywhere is it. So for today, we're doing the top 5 TV shows of all time. And I know there's people going to say, oh, but why did you mention the Shield? Or why did you mention The Wire 6 Feet Under, man? I haven't seen a lot of shows, man. I've seen plenty of shows, but I haven't seen all the shows. I don't have all the time in the world, so give me a break, man. Anyway, so we're going to mention the top 5 in my opinion. And what falls into this category are shows that you can re-watch again. Shows that are timeless. And maybe they have had bad seasons here and there, but they're still good shows, and they've defined a generation. So for number 5, we have Kiefer Sutherland in 24. 24, when it first came out in 2001, was revolutionary because it was actually a show that had never been done before, where every episode is basically an hour of that day. So it starts at 12 at midnight, second episode continues right where it left off at 1 at midnight, and it continues on until the day has ended. Seasons 1 through 5 are great seasons of that show. Yes, season 6 wasn't very good. Season 7 was and then, the other subsequent seasons weren't as good as the first 5, especially number 5. But you gotta admit that without this show, you wouldn't have other action shows that have come afterwards. Shows like The Shield, which I haven't mentioned on this list, but, it's thanks to 24 you have other action shows. So for number 4, we have a show that pretty much every 90s kid who likes horror has seen, hopefully, and that show is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's a classic 90s show, and if you haven't seen it, you definitely should. I think it's still on Netflix. It's Angel, you can watch the first 2 seasons, and the rest is not that great, but Buffy, for first 3 seasons, are great writing. It has good balance of comedy, horror, action. Yes, seasons 4, 5, and 6 aren't as great as the first couple of seasons, but this show was on for 7 seasons, and it was never canceled during that time. There was never a drop in ratings. A lot of people liked this show, and I remember this was one of the first shows I bought on DVD, and I paid full price for them. And now you can find them for $10 at a Walmart. I paid $60 for that show. Anyway, but it's a great show. You can watch it now on Netflix. So for number 3, we have a show that also 90s kids have to have seen. Even though the show was kind of intended for adults rather than kids, at least in its initial run. And can you guess what show that is? Can you guess what show it is?
Family Guy?
Fuck that show! Because of that show, everything sucks now. And it's not Family Guy. It is The Simpsons. The Simpsons. There's 2 completely different things. I don't know why they did a crossover with that Family Guy. Fucking stupid people on Fox. The Simpsons is a classic show. Yes, people say, hey, The Simpsons isn't as good as it used to be, man. It wasn't good since season 10, That's what everyone says online. People say that the show stopped dropping in quality after season 14. Some people say after season 16. Yes, the show, after season 9, the show started going down. After the episode called The Prince and the Pauper, where they show that Principal Skinner is not really Principal Skinner, he's someone else, the show didn't immediately go downhill, but it was starting to show signs of becoming inferior. But before that, from seasons 3 all the way to 8, some of the best classic episodes I've ever seen on TV. Really funny, really witty. It's just a show that you can still watch today and you can laugh at it and just have a good time. I have the most of the box sets on DVD, and sadly for a while they had announced that they weren't going to continue releasing the DVD box sets, but apparently they're going to re-release the box sets and continue on. Mind you, this show has been on since 1989, and even before that it was on the Tracy Ullman Show. So it's been on for it's going on its 29th season in October. So it shows you how long this show has been on. Yes, it's not as great as it used to be, but it's a show that's defined a generation. You can ask anybody, they probably have seen an episode of The Simpsons, or at least part of it. They'll know who Homer Simpson is. For number 2, we have a show that this is kind of tough, because there's so many shows that could be in the 1 and 2 spot, and I get it, there's probably a show out there that you like that is not made to this list, but it was tough. So for number 2, it's a show that originally I was going to put at number 1, but I'm going to put it at number 2, and that is Seinfeld. Seinfeld is a hilarious show. I remember when I was a kid, I would come home, and at first I didn't understand Seinfeld. And as I grew older, I started understanding more of the jokes, and I grew to love this show. I own all the seasons on DVD, and I watch it every now and then. It's a show that you can watch any episode, and you get hooked on immediately. You don't have to like watch it from the beginning like other shows where like for example Buffy. You know, it's a great show, but you have to watch pretty much a lot of episodes instead. You know, watch a lot of the episodes. If not, you're gonna get lost. With Seinfeld, no, it's pretty much a show about nothing. There's a bunch of friends live in New York, and a lot of zany things occur, and has some great writing and a lot of comedy gold. There's so many famous lines, like, you know, I can think from the top of my head where George goes in and he goes, "I always tip my paisanos." And he takes out
He takes it back.
Yeah. It will never be a show that will age. Sure, the wardrobe and the fact that there's no modern references makes it somewhat dated, but the comedy is still relatable. I relate to every single event here. Even if I have never been in encounter with characters like this, it's relatable. The show wasn't a success right away. The first 2 seasons had a rough start, and it was starting to get its identity, but it was still good, and it got better with each season. So for number 1 is a show that I actually finally watched. So many people were telling me to watch the show, and I finally sat down and watched it from beginning to end. And this show has some of the best writing, some of the best acting I've ever seen on television, period.
Minding the Store.
Man, let me say it. It's Pauly Shore's Minding the Store. If you haven't seen this show, it will blow you fucking away. No, I'm kidding. The show is Breaking Bad. If you haven't seen the show, my God, I think by now a lot of people have seen the show. I finally saw seasons 1 through 5, both parts of season 5 because it's divided into 2 parts. Every episode in the show was a masterpiece. Bryan Cranston brings a character of a man who is pretty much, he has nothing to lose. He's diagnosed with cancer. He has to find a way to provide a means to his family. He finds that there's no other way than to put his intelligence to work and create crystal meth with the help of a former student. He was his chemistry teacher, and they create a bond, and they start working together as partners to create the most purest crystal meth known as Blue Sky. The show, at first, you're like, where's this gonna go? You think that's probably a story that we wrapped up in 1 season, but it goes on for 5 masterful, well-created seasons. I've heard that there's other shows like The Wire that are really good. I have not seen them. There's also The Sopranos and 6 Feet Under. There's so many shows that people mention to me that are, you know, up there with Breaking Bad. But so far, the best show I've ever seen on TV is Breaking Bad. And it's not me just being a fanboy, it's just noticing good writing, good acting. So, and every character in this show is great. Every character feels like they should be here. And there's in shows where there's characters that you just feel like, oh, we could do without him. No, every actor here does a character that you identify with. And every episode is never boring. And every episode offers something new and different that you never expected going in that type of direction. So you owe it to yourself to watch Breaking Bad. Is there any show that I did not mention on this list that you think should have been in the top 5? Please let me know in the comments section down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm Vest Guy, and this is Vest Top 5.
Science, bitch.
Yeah.
Science, Mr. White.
You're damn right.